What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we're back with another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the fifth episode of Season 2, Breakage. Now, the episode opens with two men crossing the border illegally. They swim across the Rio Grande, and one of them stumbles on something. He pulls it out and sees that it's actually Tuco's grill, which now belongs to Hank, and we're left wondering how it ended up in a river. After the title, we see Walt finish up his final round of chemotherapy. Skylar is notably absent from the visit, as she's still mad at Walt. Afterward, Walt receives his bill, which is much larger than he thought it would be. He also receives his bill from his hospital stay for the fugue state. After paying both of these, he has almost no drug money left. Later on, he also finds cigarettes that tried to be flushed down the toilet. He realizes then that Skylar was smoking. Meanwhile, Hank gets promoted at the DEA. He's now going to operate in El Paso, right on the border with Mexico. Though he appears happy, he suffers a panic attack in the elevator. He later takes a day off work in order to bottle his homebrew beer, Schraderbräu. The shootout with Tuco has clearly affected him more than he let on, and he's avoiding work. Meanwhile, Jesse goes back to Clovis at the junkyard. He pays him back the money he owes him, plus extra, and arranges for storage for the RV. He also buys a used 1986 Toyota Tercel, a definite downgrade from his previous car. He then looks for an apartment and finds a small duplex managed by Jane Margolis. Jane is reluctant to rent Jesse the place, given that he has no employment verification. However, he manages to convince her after he tells him his parents kicked him out. She agrees to rent it to him at a higher rate, but warns he better not cause her any problems. Later, he and Walt head out to the desert to cook. However, without Tuco, they have no real way to sell the drugs. Jesse suggests that they act as a distributor and hire a team of dealers to sell for them. Walt doesn't like the idea, but Jesse threatens to walk unless he's put in charge of sales. It should be noted that this is one of the only times Jesse calls Walt by his first name. Every other time, it's Mr. White, clearly showing that Jesse still views him as an authority figure. However, when he feels he has power over him, he calls him Walt, which is a nice little detail. Later on, the White family goes to Hank's for a barbecue. Hank acts like he's fine, but we see him drinking heavily. In the kitchen, Skylar confronts Marie about the shoplifting. She says that unless Marie admits to it and apologizes, she won't forgive her. There's an obvious parallel here to what's happening with Walt. Unlike Walt, though, Marie admits what she did and apologizes, and they end up making up. Meanwhile, Jesse invites his friends Skinny Pete, Combo, and Badger over to his new place. He explains the sales opportunity. They'll sell his meth for $2,500 an ounce. He is owed $2,000 per ounce no matter what, and they agree. It's interesting to note he tells them to apply themselves, which is what Walt wrote on Jesse's test that we saw in Season 1. That night, they head out to sell, making a lot of money. However, Skinny Pete ends up being robbed by a couple of junkies. When Walt and Jesse meet up, Jesse is short a little of the money because of this. Walt confronts him about it, saying that appearing weak will make them targets. Jesse, however, says that they have to accept a little breakage in order to operate. Back at home, Walt confronts Skylar about the cigarettes he found in the toilet. She says she only smoked 3 and threw the rest away. Walt asks why she did it, since it's so unlike her. However, she counters that he doesn't know her anymore, given how distant he's been. Later, Walt goes over to Jesse's house. He gives Jesse the gun back he took in Season 1. He tells him he wants Jesse to handle it, meaning kill the junkies who stole from them. It's no coincidence that Walt tells Jesse to do this after his conversation with Skylar. Throughout the series, when Walt feels denied control in his family, he tries to get it back in his criminal life, and vice versa. Lastly, Hank wakes up in the middle of the night to what sounds like gunshots. He quickly grabs his gun and flashlight and goes to investigate. However, it's actually just his homebrewed beer exploding in the garage. As someone who's into homebrew myself, this can happen if there's still some fermentation, creating gas after you bottle it, which is why you need to be really careful before you bottle. However, the more important thing here is that Hank clearly has PTSD from his shooting with Tuco. In the final scene, he throws Tuco's grill into the Rio Grande, as he doesn't want to be reminded of it anymore. The title of this episode has many meanings. One is, of course, the breakage that Walt and Jesse's business suffers. We also see breakage with Hank's psyche from the PTSD. Also, there's a general connection to the title of the series, Breaking Bad. Walt is continuing on his journey to becoming a ruthless drug lord, and this is the first time we see him order a murder, though it won't be the last. Finally, did you know Schraderbrau is a real beer? In 2019, Sony teamed up with Figueroa Mountain Brewing Company to create the beer. It was sort of a promotional tie-in with the El Camino movie, and Dean Norris himself was involved. As of now, it looks like it's out of stock, and I'm unsure if it's even still being produced. So, I guess the only way to get some now is to donate to Walt's relief fund. Oh wait, that's spoilers. We'll talk about that later. Until then, talk to you guys soon. I know some guys. I can create a Patreon. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obs Racing Media, Daz J. Kid, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, and Jenna Marie Johnson.